the FDA's decision does not affect the availability of COVID vaccines for Americans who want them. We believe in individual choice. That's a promise both the president and the secretary have made, and it's a promise they have now delivered on.
The Trump administration says it's returning to science, safety, and common sense back to the American people after the FDA ended its emergency authorization of COVID-19 shots. Here to explain what this means for you is FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty Makary. Doctor, thanks for joining us.
Great to be with you, Rich.
I want to start first on some of the things you guys have done on food additives. You have focused on petroleum-based dyes. What's next? Are we going to see other chemicals, plastics? How does the government make the food supply safer?
Well, we're rewriting the broken food pyramid, the dietary guidelines with USDA. We're ending the 50-year war on natural saturated fat. That was medical dogma that was propagated. We're talking about ultra-processed foods now, the importance of fiber in grains. It's not just calories in, calories out. It's the type of food. And on the petroleum-based food dyes, that's going very well. We're tracking the companies that have made commitments. We've got another tier of chemicals, and we're trying to provide information and encourage the companies to do the same thing we did with the dyes, and that is to voluntarily take this step because consumer demand is high thanks to this big effort, and MAHA and Secretary Kennedy. People are now being educated about titanium dioxide, which is a chemical the Mars company just said they're going to remove. And SAM said they're going to remove 40 of the most concerning chemicals. So these are steps in the right direction as we educate. And we're also seeing the SNAP program now say, hey, you can make decisions at the state level to no longer pay for junk food and sugary drinks. That's a monumental change. And we've been in office about 5 or 6 months.
So you guys have also moved on 7-OHs. I don't even know what that is. What is it and why is it a danger?
So we're very concerned about what's in the vape and smoke shops that are popping up on every block in America. And people should go in there and take a look, especially physicians and public health people, because it's in a blind spot. What they're selling in there are illegal Chinese vape products. About 85% of the vapes there are illegal Chinese products, and we're cracking down on that. We're also trying to educate parents and school boards and houses of worship. There's another substance there called concentrated 7-OH. It goes by several names. It's in gummies and drinks. It's called hydroxy or hydroxymetragenine. We call it collectively 7-OH, and people need to know it is an opioid. It can be 13 times more powerful than morphine. And so it's amazing. You can walk down your block in America and buy an opioid like you buy a cup of coffee in a coffee store. People need to be educated about what's in those shops. So we have recommended scheduling to the DEA to treat 7-OH as a controlled substance so we don't get caught flat-footed again like we did with other epidemics.
Now back to the COVID shots. You guys have ended the emergency use authorization. There have been a wave of firings and resignations at the CDC over vaccine policy. First off, what can Americans expect if they want a COVID shot? Are they prevented from getting it? Who gets it? How does that all work now?
No, the government's not going to stand in the way of somebody who wants to get a vaccine. And especially with the COVID vaccines, we've made it very clear. If your doctor believes you need it, then you can get it. Now, the FDA has authorized a new round of COVID vaccines with the updated strain for high-risk individuals, because our job really is to allow indications and claims based on the data presented to us. We don't have data in healthy Americans, so we're not recommending it for healthy Americans. Now, if your doctor thinks somebody needs it because of a circumstance, you can get it. But by ending the emergency use authorization, it makes vaccine mandates legally impossible. And we saw the heavy hand of government with the vaccine mandates with the COVID vaccine. No longer is that possible given the new landscape that we've created.
So if you're high risk, you have a prescription, you're good to go.
You can get it.
Okay. And then also, when it comes to the CDC, a number of Democrats are calling for Secretary Kennedy to step down. This is from Senator Bernie Sanders in the New York Times. He writes, "The reality is that Secretary Kennedy has profited from and built a career on sowing mistrust in vaccines. Now as head of HHS, he's using his authority to launch a full-blown war on science, public health, and on truth itself." What do you think of that?
Look, we saw the Democratic Party claim that they are the party of science, and anyone with a dissenting view should be censored, and that they were non-science. Well, we've learned that was a political propaganda game. They were using science as political propaganda. This is the same argument that was driven in the last administration, the Biden administration, to push cloth masks on toddlers for 3 years, to close schools for nearly 2 years using a scientific document that was edited by the teachers union before it came out. And they put this out there as scientific dogma. We've learned of how data has been manipulated at the CDC. Even recently at the FDA, we've tried to get data, important data that we need at the FDA from the CDC. And the same folks that we saw in the mass resignings that just took place were obstructionists. They wouldn't give it to us. They gave us a subset. They play games. And even when the ACIP committee gets data to review, they insist that they have to cut the data first. And what they do is they cut it to favor their political narrative. So the CDC has been a disaster. And public trust is at an all-time low at the CDC. We need an extremely strong leader at the FDA, at the CDC, and that's what Secretary Kennedy believes in.
All right, FDA Commissioner Marty Makary, thanks for joining us.
Good to be with you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.